Welcome to my new project, an E38 750i V12 short wheelbase, which only exists in Europe and I guess the rest of the world minus North America. In any case, it's a very cool car with very cool options in kind of neglected condition, and I bought it sight unseen from Poland and then went and picked it up and drove it all the way to Bulgaria. That was a very interesting and eventful trip. So check out how that went. So, am I crazy or am I crazy? I am just about to take a flight from Bulgaria to Poland to pick up a BMW E38 750i. It's got the rear tables, it's got double pane windows, it's got all sorts of additional things that make it pretty rare, but the condition is unknown. It's, yeah, basically has been sitting for some time, for maybe a year, and then somebody bought it and resold it to me. I've paid for it in full, sight unseen, and I'm about to go pick it up and then drive it back from Poland to Bulgaria, which is, I don't know, 1,500 kilometers or something like that. It's a long journey. So, yeah, I've got a bag full of tools that I brought with me that they made me check in, but hopefully I won't need them. Hopefully the car will take me back to Bulgaria in one piece, but I'll keep you guys posted as it goes. So here's the car in all its glory and all its rust and neglectedness. One of the tires is a little flat, but I'll have to get it pumped up. Should be okay, hopefully. There is a bit of rust here. Missing one of the grills. It's in the trunk. Must have broken. Clips must have broken. Other than that, seems okay, but you know, it's not in the best of shapes. It comes with some sort of blanket here. I don't know what that is. Weird. But it does have the rear tables. Headliner sagging a little bit. Should be okay. Nothing super major. Oh yeah, let's check out the mirrors. Bam. Nice. Okay. This is cool. This is like one of the coolest options in the E38s. So driving wise, I just picked it up and drove it for like 1 minute to take it to a gas station. Driving wise, it drives, but I get all sorts of warnings on the dash for failure modes for the engine and for the transmission. Who knows what it is. The engine feels fine. The transmission shifts fine for that 1 minute that I drove it. But we'll find out what the deal is. The glove box is broken. No big deal. Probably just needs to be reattached, or maybe something's broken, but those are cheap to replace, so should be okay. And yeah, let's get it started now. I need to get some air in the tire. There's a ticking noise from the engine, which I knew about. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, motor not program, which I assume means motor failure mode or something like that in German. Yeah, the xenon lights work fine. Everything else we'll find out in a little bit. Almost immediately after I got the car, I realized that it has a nail or a screw in one of the tires, and this one here. And that's why this tire was actually low on air when I picked up the car. After I started driving, I could hear tick, 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 tick. Yep, turned out there was indeed a screw. And it was already late. It was 10:30 p.m. So I started looking for a 24-hour tire place, which There were a few listed online, and I tried calling them. None of them picked up. And I ultimately found this one place here, which looks like this. Very ghetto, and it's got like a bus depot or something here that I drove to, and it turns out that it was indeed open 24 hours, and the guy said that he would take care of the broken tire, of the punctured tire. So I'm waiting for them now. He said 10 minutes and he'll start working on the car. And so that's the story so far. Besides this, the car has a lot of issues. Sometimes it just kind of jerks while driving. It doesn't seem like the transmission, something in the driveline, maybe the transmission or something in the driveline is off. A bunch of stuff doesn't work, but that's fine, like the parking sensors and a bunch of other things. But those are no big deal, fixable. I guess so far I found out that it's in pretty bad shape, but you know, I kind of expected that. We'll see if it's in good enough condition to fix. Guys started taking off the tire to repair it, and as they just looked at it, they said that this tire is completely unsafe to drive because it's cracked. It was old. The date on it is 2008. So anyway, it had these huge cracks in it. So they said it's not safe to drive, but I said, well, I don't have another option, so let's just fix the puncture and I'll just drive slowly and hopefully it'll be fine until I just get home, and then I'll replace them, obviously. So they started taking the tire off, but as they did that, the cracks got even bigger, and I could see how deep those cracks were, and those tires really were unsafe to drive. So these guys ended up finding, out of nowhere, a pair of tires in a similar size, not quite the same, but close enough for these purposes. They're winter tires that were just left over from somewhere. So they're just giving them to me for free and mounting them on right now on the wheels. Guys working on them right now as we speak, right there, on my M parallel wheels, which I warned him to look after because they're crazy expensive. And yeah, the E38 is just sitting here waiting. By the way, I thought about using the spare wheel and the spare tire. It was low on air, which is fine. I pumped it up. Who knows whether it will last, but then I also found that there's a chunk of the sidewall missing from a curb probably, and also I found that I don't have a jack in this car, so that's why that plan didn't work. So I had to come to a tire place, and yeah, hopefully I'll be on my way soon. It's past 1 a.m. right now, and I haven't even left the city where I got the car. I was supposed to be already out of Poland by this time, but yeah, we'll see how the rest of the trip goes. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better. Oh, and I forgot to say, on top of everything, I also have a fuel leak, which the previous owner told me about, and he supposedly fixed before me coming here. But as I filled up like 3/4 of a tank of fuel, there's a leak somewhere. It's not leaking much, and it's actually not leaking at all right now, but it got the I guess the hoses in the tank around those hoses wet, and it smells like gas fumes. It seems to have stopped leaking, so maybe it was just during the fill up that it was leaking. So hopefully it was just the filler neck that had a crack or some sort of problem. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep checking it very frequently, just to make sure that I don't have any flammable substances running around. Oh, and speaking of flammable substances and things that they shouldn't be next to, the car doesn't have any mufflers. So naked exhaust pipes here, no rear mufflers. So fuel should definitely not be getting anywhere close to those, but luckily it's further toward the front and it seems to be fine. Good morning. I just woke up after sleeping in the car for a few hours at a gas station here. Compared to other places I've slept, like my bed, the E38 is not the best place to sleep, not the most comfortable one, but I guess it works. The seat folds all the way back, so it's doable. After yesterday's fiasco with the tires, I haven't made much progress in driving. I've only driven for, I don't know, 100 kilometers or something like that before I had to stop and sleep because it was the middle of the night. Yeah, so just woke up now, having some coffee. Had some breakfast from a bag of supplies and food that the mother of the seller of the car gave me. Very sweet lady. She also picked me up from the bus station before that. Gave me some supplies, including some Polish sausage and some bread and a bunch of other things and donuts. So I just had those for breakfast now. And I got a coffee, and the surprising thing is everything in this car is broken, but the one thing that's broken on all E38s, namely the cup holders, is fine in this car. It's not broken. Other than that, though, pretty much everything is shit. When they were changing the tires, I also, because I had felt some issues while driving, I also wiggled the rear wheels while the car was up on jacks, and there is some play in the rear right wheel. So that means the wheel bearing is out. I do hear some grinding noises from time to time, depending on how what position the car is in. So I hope it lasts me till I get home, but that's currently the biggest issue. The fuel leak that I had developed initially, that I had seen, doesn't seem to be an issue. It seems like it only happens when refueling, so under normal driving it doesn't leak, which is fun, which is good. Otherwise it would be a problem. What else? Yeah, suspension wise, everything's worn, but nothing that would stop me from driving the car right now to get home. Interior wise, the AC doesn't work. The whole climate control unit, the displays don't work. The vents don't really do anything, but whatever, doesn't matter for now. So let the journey continue. See how it goes. So I'm somewhere in southern Poland. Google decided to take me through some back roads, through some little towns, small towns and villages. Supposedly that was 11 minutes faster. I didn't realize what I was signing up for when I accepted that route. But on the plus side, I get to see rural Poland, and it looks very pretty. In terms of the car, things are okay so far. Air conditioning not working, which was kind of expected on a car that's been sitting for a while. So I have to keep the rear windows open to get some cool air inside. Oh, that's a cool town. Huh. Nice. See, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to see something like this. The car is getting is using up about 10 or 11 liters per 100 kilometers, it seems, which is decent. But I'm also driving very slowly. I was driving at 110 kilometers an hour on the highway, and everybody was passing me. And the reason why I'm doing that is the possible issue with the wheel bearing. I didn't want to just push it, and also on top of that, I get vibrations in the tires, most likely the front tires, because the rear tires were mounted and balanced last night. But the front ones are most likely have been sitting for years, and they're very old. So anyway, around 120 kilometers an hour, I get some vibrations. So yeah, just prefer to stay below that. And Other than that, as I said previously, the AC is not working. Even the ventilation is not working right because the buttons here are broken. They don't do anything. So I can't get it to actually start blowing cold, even like not even just outside air. It still blows a little bit of hot air. So so that sucks. The navigation screen keeps coming on and off, on and off, on and off, and in the night that was very annoying. And so I turned it off completely, but yeah, it seems like something's not making good contact there. I kept stopping and checking whether the rim has warmed up or anything like that, in case the wheel bearing has started overheating, but it's fine. And it seems like it's gotten better now. Maybe it has worn off a groove or something, and it's working fine now. I don't hear any grinding noises or anything like that I was initially. It's not overheating. It's not consuming oil, at least not noticeably. It has enough coolant. I checked it when the car was cold after my nightly nap, and all of the basics work, like lights. Oh, the wipers work, but the actual wiper blades are really old and torn, so I'll probably just need to I'll probably just need to stop at a gas station and get some new ones, because it did start to rain a little bit earlier. It's sunny now, but who knows what will happen over the next 24 hours or so. Google says I have 13 hours left on my trip of constant driving, but obviously I'll have to sleep at some point, so my ETA is sometime tomorrow noonish, maybe, to get home to Bulgaria if everything goes well. And if it doesn't go well, then who knows. My plan B has always been to just leave the car where it is and take a flight, but that'll cost a lot of money. Hopefully I won't have to do that. Hopefully the car will be good and it will take me back all the way to Sofia, Bulgaria, which will be its new home. The transmission shifts okay. It had some issues between fourth and fifth gear, but maybe they've gone away. I'm not sure. I don't know. The car just needs some basic maintenance done. I think all the oils need to be changed, probably including the gearbox oil, and I'm sure all the belts and the tensioners and all that stuff will need to be done as well. But with a little bit of maintenance, I'm sure it will run a lot better. There's also a ticking noise from the engine that sounds like valve noise, but it could be something else. I'll investigate that, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. There's still some hope in this car that it can be returned to its former glory, and when it is returned, it will indeed be a glorious car. It came optioned from the factory with lots of stuff, almost everything. It doesn't have a power trunk, and it doesn't have steering wheel heating, but other than that, I think for a short wheelbase it has almost everything. I'm sure there's other options that it doesn't have, but it has the self-leveling suspension. It has the holy grail of E38 options, which is the rear seat tables. Okay, so Google is making a turn here. Wow, weird choice, Google. Where are we going? Man. Really? Is this? So we're staying off of the yellow road, which is kind of the main roads, and now it's taking me to an even smaller country road here. Not really sure that I should be following this. Well, let's give it a try, I guess. So anyway, I was talking about the options. Has the rear seat tables. It has dual pane glass. It has self-leveling suspension, as I said. It says it has EDC. It has PDC. It has window blinds. It has all of the buttons here with you know, like phone whatever thing dialing, which I don't know if it's usable with today's phones, but anyway, it has the phone here. And it has xenon lights which work and which are self-leveling, and that works too because I can see them moving up and down on startup. What else does it have? It has a glass moonroof, which is I believe an option for these cars as opposed to the regular sunroof, which is metal. And what else? I don't know, but it's got a lot of options, and if everything is restored, it'll be a pretty awesome car. And I'm thinking I might even do a manual swap in it. We'll see how it goes, but I would love to have a V12 manual luxury sedan. I currently have a V12 manual 8 series, which feels great, but this car will be a lot smoother, and it will be it'll just be unique. So yeah, I think if everything else goes well with the restoration, I might attempt that. So I'm in Slovakia now. I didn't realize even that I was getting to the border, and there was some guy there was a police car with a guy standing next to it, and he waved at me to stop. Checked my passport for about 1 minute, and then said go through. This is Schengen for you. There's supposed to be no borders between Schengen countries, but I guess nowadays there are some because of the COVID restrictions, and they're supposed to check if you're supposed to do a quarantine or whatever, depending on what country you're coming from. But in my case, I told them that I'm just transiting through Slovakia, and so whoa, yeah, wow, interesting guy. It's rowing here on a bike thingy. But anyway, if you're just going through Slovakia straight through without staying here, then they don't care. You don't need to do a quarantine or anything like that. And so yeah, I'm just going through the little towns again. Google is still taking me on a scenic route. Well, I am doing some sightseeing as I drive with my crooked steering wheel. As you can see, the alignment on this car is way off. I'm guessing that there's a bunch of worn suspension components in the back, in the front, that are causing this. So until now we were in Slovakia, and now we are entering Hungary. This is what a border crossing within the EU and within Schengen looks like. Okay, and all of a sudden, all of the signs start being in Hungarian. I guess this one is in English. But yeah, we're already in Hungary. Alright, well, so it's been almost a day since I picked up the car, and other than the tire fiasco of last night, it seems fine. Obviously there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with it. A lot of stuff doesn't work. Weirdly, actually, some of the stuff that is commonly broken on these cars is fine on this one. Like, the cup holders always break on the E38s. Here they're fine. They even fold in and fold out, no problems. The rear sunshade works fine. What else? Windows, all windows work fine. None of the window regulators are broken. Yeah, but the stuff that pretty much everything else is broken, so including parking sensors and the navigation and the climate control and what else? Well, the wheel bearing, transmission is in failure mode, engine is in failure mode, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of other stuff, but yeah. Anyway, what I wanted to say is that even though pretty much everything is broken on this car, I am successfully driving it at 120 kilometers an hour on a highway, and I'm not so much afraid for my life as maybe I should be, but yeah, it's fine, it's running okay. It's drivable. I've already covered about 650 kilometers so far. I've got about another that many to cover, but the car is okay. It feels a little unstable on bumps and curves on the road, but that's because the suspension is worn, possibly also because of the wobble in the rear wheel because of the wheel bearing. Hopefully the wheel won't come off. I keep checking whether it gets hot or anything like that at each stop, but it doesn't. Also, I'm missing a bunch of hydraulic fluid, but since this car uses CHF11S, I can't really fill it up at a gas station. Nobody sells that stuff. But yeah, the level of that is definitely low. And at low speed, when I turn the steering wheel, I hear this kind of grind from the hydraulic pump. But it still has servo assistance for the steering, so there is some fluid there. It's not gonna damage the pump, hopefully, by the time I get home. But yeah, generally the car is drivable. All of the essentials work, and yeah, I tried to change the windshield, the wiper blades here. Turns out the driver's side wiper blade has some really weird and unique design, let's call it unique, where it curves to the outside, and so normal wiper blades don't actually work. So I couldn't fit a regular wiper blade here. I was able to replace the passenger side one, and that one was actually worse. It was torn completely. So I don't know. Hopefully we won't get any rain, but if we do, I'll be able to see out of the passenger side. And yeah, you can see right now I'm even doing almost 130, and the car is fine, and it's actually smooth and quiet because of the dual pane windows. Right now I've closed all the windows so that I can do this video, otherwise it's a lot noisier. Yeah, I'm gonna reopen them now because I'm boiling here. It's really hot outside. As you can see here, outside temperature is 26.5 degrees Celsius, and it's really hot. There's no AC, and there's not even a fresh air vent that works, because the vent actually blows warm air. So yeah, I need to keep the windows open. So that's it for now. So I'm near Budapest right now. I'm on some sort of ring road around Budapest. It's kind of interesting that this journey is taking me throughout all these interesting places. Unfortunately, I don't have time to stop. It would be a cool road trip to just hang around, visit all of these cities that I'm passing through, starting with Warsaw, Lublin, where I picked up the car, a few places in Slovakia whose names I didn't remember, and then a few places in Hungary, which I also didn't remember, but the one that we're passing by right now is Budapest, and it would be cool to check it out, but unfortunately I gotta be back in Sofia tomorrow morning, so can't do that. Okay, this evening has been eventful. I need to kind of calm down a little bit, but first I was going to the Serbian border, Hungarian-Serbian border. Had to wait for an hour and a half there for them to check my ID, which took like 5 seconds, but I don't know why there was such a long line. And once I got to the Serbian side, the Serbians didn't accept my driver's license because it officially has expired, but also officially has been extended due to the COVID pandemic. But the Serbians don't want to accept it, and so they said turn around, go through Romania. So I turned around, but then I had to enter Hungary again. And when I was doing that, they somehow thought that this car is a very gangster car, and it's got a potential to hide drugs in it or something like that. They were looking at the sunroof here for whatever reason. I guess maybe people hide drugs in those. I don't know. But they took the car. They asked me to drive it into a special garage for additional checks. They were looking here with flashlights, with whatever they were taking apart. I don't know if they... Yeah, I think they messed up the trim pieces here a little bit. I'll have to fix those. They were knocking on all the panels to see if to see how it sounds, opening up everything and whatever. Obviously, they didn't find any drugs, so they let me go. And at the same time, I was already running out of gas. So anyway, I took a small detour, found this Shell station here that's open, even though Google didn't know about it. But the other drama is on the way here, because my headlights were pointed a little bit down, and I was just thinking like, as soon as I get to the gas station, I will adjust them. But I couldn't see very far, and there was some small animal on the road, like a squirrel or a rabbit or something like that, some wild animal, on the highway in my lane, and I hit it, unfortunately. I tried to swerve, but I kind of hit it with the side of the car, with the corner of the car. Yeah, once I got to the gas station here, I checked, and there's no sign of anything, but I'm pretty sure I hit it. So yeah, that sucks. And all of that just adds a lot of time to my journey, which was already taking longer than expected. Okay. Anyway, got kicked out of my parking space. But yeah, that's it so far. About 5 hours have been added to my trip because of this detour where I have to go through Romania. I don't have many other options, so that's what I'll start doing now. I just need to get to eat some food and start going. Okay, good morning on day 3 of my trip. I had to go through Romania instead of Serbia because they didn't let me into Serbia. And I did take a nap for about 2 hours once I entered Romania, and then woke up and continued the trip, which is basically right now. I've got 6.5 more hours to go, which is quite a bit. I should have been almost home at this point.
In 600 meters, at the roundabout, take the second exit.
Yeah, so just driving through Romania now, and this route is relatively slow, and the surface of the road is not great, and so that's not playing well with my worn suspension and my wheel bearing issue in the rear right. So I just hope it lasts until I get back. Well, here I am again, taking the scenic route, this time through Romania. In this case, it's not Google's fault. It's just that this is the road. There's no highway that goes anywhere around here, so this is indeed the road to take. And this is my favorite type of road. Just a windy little road. If you look at the map here, look, yeah, pretty awesome. I just wish I was in a car that's well sorted out, and I wish there weren't so many trucks here that I have to pass. And yeah, maybe a sportier car, but even an E38 would be pretty awesome if it weren't in a state where I'm wondering whether it's going to survive the next corner. So yeah, I'm not pushing this one too much. Alright, well, now it's getting interesting. The rear right wheel bearing is starting to make more noises, starting to make clicking noises as if it's grinding its internals. Right now it's not making them, but it does make them every once in a while, depending on the, I guess, the position of the wheel. And that is not good. There's no way to repair that on the road, so it'll have to be, the car will have to get towed. So yeah, fingers crossed. There's 94 kilometers to the Bulgarian border, and then after that I have about 200 more kilometers to Sofia. But once I cross into Bulgaria, things will be a little bit easier, because I'll be more at home. You know, I'll be able to leave the car somewhere if necessary, and then come pick it up later. But let's see how it goes. Let's hope that it lasts all the way to Sofia, which seems like a long shot at this point, but oh well, one can hope. Okay, so the city that we're looking for is called Calafat, and that is the city on the Romanian side of the border with Bulgaria. Yeah, see the sign here? That's what it is. So we're looking for the number of kilometers left to Calafat. Last sign I saw was, okay, here it says 68. Yeah, so 68 kilometers left to the Bulgarian border. Probably another 5 or 10 after Calafat, so let's say 70 something kilometers left. Well, we're getting closer. We're about, I think, 20 something kilometers from Calafat, and the car is seemingly okay so far. Again, after Calafat there's another 200 kilometers to Sofia, but at least I'll be in Bulgaria. Oh, okay, it's 37, not 27 to Calafat is what that sign said. We're going through some small towns here, and I can't drive any faster, and I'm not even sure I want to anyway. But yeah, I'm getting passed by a Dacia. A BMW V12 is getting passed by a Dacia that makes, I don't know, like 50 horsepower. Yep. That's what happens when you buy a 25-year-old rust bucket that's been sitting for a while. Yeah. Okay, we are indeed getting closer to the Bulgarian border. Looks like the car is gonna make it. Let me just, not jinx it or anything, but it looks like we're close enough. Yeah, we're about 10 kilometers away from Calafat, which is the city on the Romanian side of the border. And then there's a bridge to Vidin, which is the city on the Bulgarian side of the border. And we should be there relatively shortly. So far, the wheel bearing is hanging on. Let's hope it continues to be that way. And let's hope it takes me all the way to Sofia and not just to Vidin. So apparently this is how you manage 2 lanes of traffic, separate for truck traffic and car traffic in Romania. Just go around them. We're currently driving in the other direction, other lane. and there's trucks coming ahead of us. But yep, this is how you manage this in Romania. Just kind of get in between them and then that's it. But the good news is we got to
In
the bridge.
400 meters,
This is the
slight
bridge.
left.
This is the bridge to Vidin, which is the border between Bulgaria and Romania. Okay, I made it to Bulgaria. Car is still in one piece, right here. Although the rust is now more visible than ever. Probably, yeah, not really in one piece. But anyway, the important stuff is I'm in Bulgaria now, and I'm still a long way from home, 3.5 hours from home, from Sofia. But at least now, if anything happens, I'll be able to get a tow truck or something, you know, or call a friend to give me a ride. So, much better than getting stuck in a foreign country. Let's see how the rest of the trip goes. So I've been complaining about the roads in Poland and in Romania and whatever, but the roads in Bulgaria are the worst. Terrible potholes, lots of waves all over the place, grooves, yeah, grooves that I'm going through right now, made by trucks, I guess. They're just terrible. And I'm still worried that the wheel bearing in the rear is not going to actually survive all these bumps. But on the plus side, the views are very pretty. And no, I'm not talking about the X5 that just passed me. Whoa, 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 whoa. I am talking about the mountain right in front of us. But man, okay, I need to slow down. This is completely gonna screw up my car. I don't know what's left of that wheel bearing, but that was just like a minefield. Crazy. And every time I go through, I feel stuff shaking underneath me as I hold the steering wheel. I feel the suspension components being loose and everything shaking. Not good, not good. Close, guys. This is the highway that leads into Sofia. We are 28 kilometers away from my address, which is 29 minutes apparently because of traffic. So, as you can see, the E38 is still going, and in fact going at highway speeds. Not particularly high speeds, but yeah, 110, 120 kilometers an hour. And yeah, oh, so far so good. Okay, so entering Sofia. We made it. I mean, almost home. Good car. Yeah. And even though it's in limp mode, it's getting 11.1 liters per 100 kilometers. This is pretty damn good for a V12 pulling such a heavy car. So I don't know if their limp mode is this good. I don't know what their regular mode is. Okay, we made it. Check this out. Pulling into my driveway. Haha. All right. The old girl made it. With all 4 wheels attached. that was an adventure for sure. Interesting adventure. 1,619 kilometers covered, and there was another close to 100 more before I reset it, so yeah, like 1,700 kilometers. That is a lot. In less than 2 days, 1.5 days. So what I want to see immediately now after arriving is how bad this situation was with the wheel bearing. I want to see how close it was to not making it or to killing me. So I'm going to take a jack and I'm going to lift up the wheel, see how much it wobbles. That's not too bad. There is some play, but that was basically the same amount of play that I saw when we were leaving from Lublin 1,700 kilometers ago. Ah, okay, there's some lateral play in this direction. Okay. Well, yeah, it's noticeable, but I don't think the wheel was about to fall off. So, yeah, I think we're fine. So, that's how that went, and when I got back to Bulgaria, I did find out a few more things, and I did fix a few more things. So let me show you what the current condition is and what I've done since then. First, I've unpimped the exterior. I changed the turn signals back to the OEM orange ones, and I changed the tail lights back to OEMs. I fixed or replaced a few of these trim pieces here and on the doors. Some of them still need to be fixed, or the brackets need to be installed. I fixed a parking sensor here. I think it was this one. The wiring was bad. Fixed that. I fixed the airbag fault by replacing an accelerometer that's under the seat here. I fixed the navigation that was blinking all the time by changing the TV module, which apparently the whole video signal goes through the TV module even if you're not watching TV. And I don't remember, I fixed a few more things. I got a new battery. I replaced, one of the big issues was the wheel bearing. I replaced the entire rear right suspension with a used unit from a junkyard. So now the suspension is fine. Well, the wheel bearing is fine, but the rest of the suspension still needs an overhaul. Both front and rear suspension both need an overhaul, so I'm gonna get new ones. Obviously the car needs new paint and some fixes of the rust. Probably an entirely new fender here. There's a bunch of rust, so new fender, that's not a big deal. Probably all new doors because of this, but the good news is the chassis itself doesn't have any rust. It's only sheet metal rust, including here, which is in a bad place because it's not a replaceable panel, but that's still fine. It can still be fixed and patched here. The important thing is the door sills, I guess the side sills here don't have any rust. I've removed this and checked underneath. There's no rust, and under the car there's also no rust in the body, on the body itself. There's a bunch of rust on some suspension components or the exhaust pieces, but no rust on the body. So structurally the car is in good shape, and I should be able to fix it and restore it to its original condition. Another thing that I restored, by the way, I forgot to mention, is the wheels. I got the Style 15s. When I bought it, it came with M parallels, which obviously are better, but according to the spec sheet for this car, it came with Style 15s, 16-inch. So I'm putting those back in, and just generally trying to restore the car exactly as it came out of the factory. And now on to the major problem that this car has, which I didn't know about. I knew that it had a engine ticking sound when I bought it, before I bought it even. The previous owner told me about it, but I didn't know what it was from. I thought it was from a valve lifter or something like that. It kind of sounded like a valve noise. Let me show you. I'll start the car. So you can hear this. You hear this ticking sound. Sounds like it's coming from somewhere here. And I thought it was valve noise. Just maybe the valve lifter wasn't expanding fully or something like that. But eventually, I ended up checking with the bore scope through the spark plug holes, checked the cylinder walls, and the news was not good. They were all scored. Most of the cylinders were scored badly, so most likely that's what the tap is coming from, and the car will just need a new engine. So that's exactly what I'm going to work on next. I'm going to work on preparing the new engine and putting it into this car. Before that, I'm going to do some transmission service and a bunch of other minor things, so make sure you keep watching. All of that is coming up in the next episodes. Subscribe to the channel, do the like thing, do the bell thing, and it'll be a fun project. I think this car is really going to be worth it. It's a nice example of a 750i with very good options, and it was really a rocket ship back in its day in 1996. So it's worth restoring. Stay tuned.